And then the last one, I laughed. He said, I see a bunch of pictures on the screen to your left, right over here. These are all the thumbnails and stuff from the videos I put up, and it just floats through the screen. So welcome to SMPostcards. This is the place if you're just started selling postcards or you've been doing it a long time, just to learn a little bit about how to help on reselling postcards. I go through every week and I put out videos about different types of postcards. I do some things about the tools, procedures, basically what I do, just to show you. And then I get a lot of communication and involvement from other people that watch the channel with comments. How I break that down is I usually go through what sold in the beginning of the video, and then I do a special topic. It's about a certain postcard. Today is going to be on U.S. presidents, the people that live in the White House every 4 years. It's a little different one. This was one that touches a lot of nerves with some people, but I didn't want to go there with that. And if there's any political stuff like that, I'll keep that out. This is more about the postcards of the presidents and what sells. And I had a plan. I had a grandiose plan how to do this, and that went out the window after a little bit. But when we get into it, I'll tell you why. And then I usually do a poll or some data or something I dream up. Today is another passionate thing people have. Do you save your scans of your postcards after you list them? Why or why not? And I put that out there, and we'll talk about that poll and the results, and then I'll tell you what I do and why I do it. And then at the end of every video, the longer videos on Mondays, I do viewer comments. Those are comments I pull from YouTube, email, or stuff like that, and then this is from them. They're asking a question, and then I reply. I like doing that part of the thing because it's more ad-lib than anything, and I talk about it, and it really brings up good topics for people, questions that other people might have that they just haven't asked on there. But I'm going to go ahead right now and start with the what's sold. I had 22 cards sold overnight on eBay. I only sell on eBay now. I don't sell on Hip or Etsy anymore, or Mercari. I don't cross list. I'm just basically eBay on there. Most of the majority of postcards and postcard sellers are on eBay. The other sites just don't have the traffic and stuff, and I wanted to slow down a little bit this year, so I got rid of all these other sites and just, it's really nice. Bring up my computer and click on eBay, and it's all right there. Everything I need to do that morning, it's all right there. Sold a lot of ships today, a lot of naval ships. This one is this was a tanker converted to a missile range instrumentation ship. Look at that thing. Looks like something out of sci-fi. Got these little radar cones on there. And this is the USS Redstone. That sold $4 to $5. All my ships are basically $4 to $5. Then I sold this one. This was a painting, St. Anthony leaving his monastery. I don't know. Just basically a museum card. It looks like it's older, but it's not. It's a chrome card of St. Anthony. He's leaving this place. $4 to $5. Then I sold another Cupie. No white stock. I had a lot of these Cupies. This one's having ice cream. So the Cupie sold, and I think it's the same person, $4 to $5. Sold another ship, USS Cone. I haven't sold this one in a long time. It's one of the publisher cards, $4 to $5. Then this is Yugoslavia. Now, I don't do a lot of foreign cards. One, it takes longer for me to list. Two, they don't sell that well for me. So that's got two bad things already for me. But I will put up certain ones. And this one had Pan Am right down at the bottom. That was an airline that's on there. So I always list the airline issued cards. And this one, I think $5 to $6 I got for it. Yugoslavia. Next person bought two cards. These are publisher cards. This is the USS Nishoba. It's an amphibious training ship. Bought two of these. Real simple to do. $9.30 for both of those. Next person bought four ships, all the same card. This is the USS Great Sitkin AE-17. So it's an older ship with a number like that. If you look at that, that's an older naval ship. And these are the prints that the club printed off. And these together, all four, was $18.60. And that won't even be under an ounce in the envelope. Next one I sold for $5. This is the Aruba Sheraton Hotel, Caribbean Hotel. Might not be there anymore with the hurricane, not sure. $45. Or no, that one's $5 to $6. Then I sold another one of the Native Americans. This is Alec. He is a Indian brave. Vertical card on there. And he sold $6.88. I must have sent an offer. They got a discount or something. Next one sold for $5 to $6. Browns Island, Weirton, West Virginia, in the distance. Look at that, kind of weird. On there, heavy cardstock, but West Virginia I always want to look at because it's not a very populated state, and some of the cards there can go real good. And that one was $5 to $6. This is a $4 to $5 card. First Methodist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. It says right there 1951, but always be careful of those dates. That might not be when the card was made. It might be when the person purchased it or put it in their collection. Linen card, $4 to $5. This next one is I have a box full of real photo postcards. A lot of them are able to be identified where they're at and stuff like that. And if you watch my videos enough, I'm not that big of a researcher where I'm gonna go down the rabbit holes and spend hours digging through things. I don't have all the tools, and I don't enjoy that as much as doing the chromes and stuff. Some people love doing this, and that's why I'm putting these up. I put this one up for like $8.65, and I got $8.26 for it, so I must have sent an offer. But this is an association, and it's got a little bit of edge wear and stuff, and a dog sleeping in front. But if you look at it, it doesn't really say where it's at on there. But I wanted to get these out there for people, and it has a Velox stamp box, which is about circa 1912, 1920s, around there. You can date it from that, but there really wasn't much on there. But I wanted to get it out from some resellers that might take this to the next level. I've made my money on it. I don't have much in this card at all, but it was just sitting there, and I'm just sitting there. I don't want to put $50 on it or anything, because I really don't know what it is. Just move them. So I got my money for it. Now someone else can take it. Now I did another batch of these earlier, and some people came in, some other resellers I know, bought a bunch of them, and I hope they do well with them. So you can always check my store for stuff like that, because I'm not going to spend the time that you might spend the time to go researching those. And there's deals to be made, because that's just not my niche. You can't do everything. I can't look for defunct post offices. I can't look for this. I can't look at the stamps. I'm divided back to chrome is my niche. I will look at the other things. Now, if that said Elks Association, Alabama, I could probably done a little bit more with it, but it just said association. So someone might be able to pull something out of it. I don't know. Next one, this person bought two of these cards, or one of these cards. This is the USS Warren. This has got the gloss on the front and the matte on the back. $4.65. Next one is the USS Nashville. I told you it was boat day, another print. USS Nashville, $4 to $5. USS Prairie. This one right here. A publisher card for a boat, $4 to $5. And then this one was $5 to $6. Upper Main Street, Catskill, New York. There was a lot of these I got. I remember this is from the albums from New York, Catskill. And I got $5 to $6 for that. And then this one came in right before the video. It's just a chrome card of the Marine ship Mount Washington. $4 to $5. Very, very current card. So out of all the cards, I sold 22 total postcards. Some with multiple people bought more than one. Total for a day was $121.68. Average sale price was $5.53. So my average sale price is going up. I'm over $70. That's my goals. $70 a day, ASP up. And I want to sell 14 cards a day average for the year, and I sold 22 today. The other day I think I sold 10 or 9. And the other day I did 28, 30. So my average is still between 13 and 14 cards. So I say 13, round to the bottom. So I'm almost at my goal there. And if I do that and I hit $70 a day and I sell 14 cards, I'm going to make $25,500 a year in gross sales. Take everything out, I'm going to put about $1,000 to $1,200 in my pocket every month. So $12,000 to $15,000 a year. I can tell you for sure I'm going to be way over to $70. And they said, why did you set your goal so low? That's all I need. That's all I want to do. I don't want to break records and stuff like that. But I can't help it when people buy. I've had bad days just like everybody else and good days. But my profit at the bottom this year, by cleaning everything up, I spent all that before the first of the year, cleaning my expenses up and watching my budget and stuff like that. My profit's never been higher when I'm bringing to the bottom line. My expenses are so managed now, it's ridiculous. So I'm bringing a lot there, and I'm going to be way over to 25,000 just in Chrome cards. This is, I mean, if you're selling the higher price cards, you're going to do a lot more, probably a lot better. If you're selling a lot of cards, the real photos and stuff like that, you can put a lot at the top line, but what did you pay for that card? If you're paying what I pay for the cards and you're getting those top dollars, you're going to do very well. It's out there. And a lot of people say, well, you can't make any money on these cards. No, don't do it. It's horrible. Yes, you can. You just got to manage it at a margin and a level. You can't over promote. You can't spend a lot of money on buying them. You can't spend a lot of shipping, stuff like that. And you got to have a lot of them. And I have over 45,000 listings now, so it really helps. You'd think I'd be selling more, but you got to remember what type of cards I got. I got average cards with a good price. They're priced to sell, not top, not bottom, but they're priced to sell. Move the inventory. If you're not moving your inventory, you're not putting money in your store. That's the way I always look at it. I don't mind taking a little bit less to get it moved, unless it's something I know I can get more for, but not every card's like that. But that's the what sold. And look at the variety I sold. All different things. Presidents, U.S. presidents. I got a lot to go over about presidents. I was going to go through and I was going to break it all down, what the sell-through rate about all the presidents were, and I started down that path. But I'll tell you what, it was a struggle, because George Washington, for example, it's Mount Vernon, it's the coins, the plates, the china, the stamps, the letter. I mean, it was just constant taking stuff out. And I had to do that for all the presidents on the solds and the listed. And it just got too much. But I can tell you, when we get to the sell-through rate, what I did pop out to me on a few of the presidents. But you got to remember also, a lot of the presidents from the old ages, postcards weren't around. They couldn't use that for campaigns back then. But when they got up into the 1912s, 1910s, they put out postal cards. And before that was postal cards, and then they put stuff out. And then our current presidents, probably from like Bush forward, social media was involved. So I didn't see a lot in there. And we'll talk about that on the sell-through rates and what I saw. But first, let me go over some history of presidents. You always got to have a good foundation, as I talked about before. So you want to know a little bit about the cards, and this is just a snippet of the stuff that I found, that I broke it out, and I'm going to go through a little paragraph about the presidency and some facts about the presidents. And then we're going to talk about sell-through rates and then look at some pricing and some cards and things that I found. And remember, these videos are just basically as an introduction to this type of card, to intrigue you to go out and do more research, because there's probably 70%, you're only getting about 30-40% of what I found and broke it down. The rest of it's out there. And you can go out and read and learn a lot of these topics, more information. But if I did it in a video, everybody falls asleep. It'd be just way too long to put it together and to talk about it. But while I talk about the presidency, I'm going to show some postcards that I found for sale. The United States presidency is the highest office in the country and holds immense power and responsibility. The president serves as the head of state, the head of government, and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The president is elected by people through the complex electoral process and serves a 4-year term. with the possibility of being re-elected for a second term. The presidency represents the executive branch of government and plays a crucial role in shaping domestic and foreign policy as well as implementing and enforcing laws. The presidency is a symbol of democracy and leadership in the United States. The president is expected to provide guidance and direction to the nation, making decisions that affect the lives of millions of people. The president's role encompasses a wide range of responsibilities, from formulating national budget to representing country on a global stage. The president also has the power to appoint key officials, negotiate treaties, propose litigation to Congress. The decision and actions of the president can have a profound impact on the trajectory of the nation and its citizens. Throughout history, the U.S. presidency has been occupied by remarkable individuals who have left their mark on the nation and the world. From George Washington, the first president, to Abraham Lincoln, who led the country through the Civil War, and Franklin D. Roosevelt, who guided the nation during the Great Depression and World War II. Each president faced unique challenges and opportunities. The presidency has seen leaders who have inspired change, fostered innovation, and championed civil rights. It is a position that demands leadership, resilience, and the ability to navigate complex political landscapes while upholding the principles and values of the United States. Now here's 5 facts about the presidency. The tradition of U.S. presidents' postcards dates back to the earliest 20th century. Collecting and exchanging postcards featuring the images of U.S. presidents became popular among Americans during this time. U.S. president postcards often featured iconic photographs or illustrations of the presidents, showcasing their unique personalities and contributions to American history. These images can include official portraits, candid shots, or scenes from significant events during their presidency. President postcards serve as both collectibles and educational tools. Many people collect these postcards as a way to commemorate and remember past presidents. They can be used in educational settings to teach students about the U.S. presidents and their accomplishments. History is important. Postcards featuring U.S. presidents can vary in design and style, as we all know. Some postcards are simple and featured only the president's image, while others include additional information such as their name, term in office, notable achievements. Some collectors seek out specific editions of limited run cards, limited edition, adding rarity and value to their collections. Collectors are always looking to add to their collections or better up their collections. And the last one, U.S. Presidents postcards are widely available in various formats, including vintage and contemporary editions. They can be purchased at souvenir shops, historical sites, and online platforms like eBay and HIP and stuff like that. Additional postcard enthusiasts often participate in trade shows, auctions, whatnot, and forums dedicated to buying, selling, and trading president postcards. So that's basically the president's postcards, and we all see them. I went out and I bought like 800 president postcards, and I've been filtering them over time into my stores. I've sold some of them. Some other nations, I had some presidents from a couple other nations too, but I've sold some of those. But what's the sell-through rate? And I've been putting this little gauge up here. I figured I needed to put how I think about sell-through rate in my head there, and that could change over time, but this is usually what I do. 0 to 3% I figure low, stay away from them. 4 to 7% sell-through rate is average. Those pay the bills. They'll do fine, but they won't be fast sellers, but they will sell. Then you got your higher, a little bit above average, they sell a little quicker, 8 to 10%. And anything 11% or higher are the ones you really want to go after. But you got to have a good mix, but stay away from the red ones. I calculate sold divided by listed times 100 gives you the sell-through rate on eBay. How many cards are going through the eBay system with this query? Postcard, United States presidents. If I just put president in there, oh my God, the stuff that popped up. If I put U.S. president, oh my God, totally different number. But I finally got down to United States president, gave me a good query. And there are some other things in the query minus china and some other things and plates and glasses and coins that I had to take out in the query. But I ended up with 570 sold. And this is the 90-day period eBay shows me, with 8,300 listed. Times it by 100 and you get a 7% sell-through rate. So they're not a bad sell-through rate, but I think some cards do push more than others. So if I just put U.S. President, I got 2,400 listed and 269. It was 11%. It didn't seem right, but that had a lot of stuff in there. Then the United States President was 7%. So I put the other one in red there just to show you U.S. President and United States President. There's two different things in there. So I would say presidents fall in the range of average. They're not low, they're not high. I would say they're in the, I would say 4 to 7% are average cards. And then Postcard President was 7%. So we're right there, and they're just an average card. Nothing special. There could be some that are. And I'll give you the reason for that. So looking at through the presidents, some of the people, Harding and stuff, a lot of people, they didn't do a lot of notable things that are very well known. But if you get into Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Jackson, Grant, wartime presidents, Roosevelt, Reagan is a good one, Nixon and China, that was a postcard I sell all the time when I get it. And when presidents aren't doing well. One of them is Jimmy Carter. We all heard that he's an older person and he's ill and he's not doing well. So there's a lot of Jimmy Carter postcards were put up because people will want those mementos of his period in office and of President Jimmy Carter. And so a lot of those are up, so that drives up the sell-through rate as well. Also, if there's any presidents in the news, like the current president, the last president we had, and the one before that, there was a lot of news, a lot of social media. That drives up, that really showed to me in some of the stats that if you're in the news a lot, good or bad, the sell-through rate went up on those presidents. But it didn't really show me true for each one. It kind of mixed up the two Bush presidents, the H and the Junior. It mixed those guys up. It mixed a lot of stuff with George Washington. Oh my God, there was just so much stuff popping up. It would take me forever to go and take those out of the equation on there. So, but those are what you want to look for. If you're into presidents and stuff like that, these are great things to collect. But they're just an average card. And I think maybe Grant's Tomb, that sells, but it doesn't sell for $50 unless it's something special about it. But there's so many different variations. But I did find some higher priced ones out there. Not real high priced of president stuff. Here's one, Theodore Roosevelt and family during presidency, Oak Park, Illinois. That's just north of me. $100. So it's probably an undivided back, or because it's got a writing tab on it, and it's got the family there. $100. Real photo. So that's what I mean about some outliers there. And then you got a rare set of 6 Lincoln Patriotic Antique Postcards, gold trim. I seen a couple sets of these, and they look really. Someone got a hold of some new old stock, I think. And these went pretty good for best offer on $85. So probably 70. And there were some out there. Those didn't do too bad either. And here's one. Vintage postcard, former President Reagan with note and signature, super rare. A note and signature. I brought this one in here is because he signed it. And if you can get that authenticated, which I would sell it to someone to do that. I don't do a lot of the authentication, even though I'm thinking about it with some things I might get this week with an auction. Not a postcard, it's a wacky packages. $187.50. And I don't know if it's authenticated or not. So if you see one that's signed, I would see how to send that in or something like that. But then also Tux. I ran into these Tux. Tux has a series of different presidents, and here's just a couple examples. Here's the back of them, and here's some of the fronts of them. If you notice, they're in that tuck brush-like thing on there. I don't know if they're oilettes or I don't think so. Oilettes are Postcards that Tuck's made. It's a name that they created, a trademark, where it makes it look like it was brushed onto the postcard, like painted. But Raphael Tuck, Franklin Pierce, $5.51 in an auction, 2 bids. Then you got James Madison, $3.99, and then Andrew Jackson, $10.51. And that bottom one is graded. It was sent in for graded, but it didn't. I mean, it costs like $25 or the grade of postcard if you're not in a club with PSA, is what I read. And they didn't even get their money back for the grade. So they don't go for a lot of money, but they do go through the system. And here's the regular average sold, just stuff I pulled out. Abraham Lincoln, 1909 embossed card. I call these patriotic cards. Emancipation Proclamation, no writing on the back, $50. And that was just sold in May of this year. That's not too bad. It's kind of a neat looking card, but I wouldn't know if I'd put that up for $50. That was a good deal. They did real well with that. Then you got Nixon, hand signed autograph, could be auto pen, you never know, but $26. Nixon for some reason sells. I don't remember much about Nixon. I've seen the news and stuff and Watergate and all that type of stuff, but I was still young. I remember Carter, Ford, and stuff like that. And I remember Nixon, but not as much. I'm not really of a political person. And then the bottom one, you'll see these cartoon ones, President Roosevelt, stuff like that. These are different types of comic ones, $25. Not too bad. Then you get into the low ones. Like I said, there's a lot of Jimmy Carters out there, and they're just going for average or lower money right now. Something does happen, they will probably bump up for a little bit. But there's going to be a flooded market already out there. But I remember him as president with the Iran thing, and the peanuts, and the Billy Beer. That's probably when I became more aware of how things worked in those days. Then you got Woodrow Wilson, 99 cents. And I've sold this bottom one here, the presidents with all the heads on them and stuff like that. Average card. It just depends who's on it, but they did a lot of these. I've sold that before. So if you notice the lows, just do it like before, but the highs, I would say $15 to $20 at the most on an average card. If you got signatures, it could be more, but average presidents and what they are. So to sum up U.S. presidents, I think you got to have some of them in your store if you want a well-rounded business. But I wouldn't flood it. I would mix them in with other things. I don't think they're that fast of movers. I haven't sold a lot of them on certain presidents, but they go in bunches. Like someone will add them, they'll buy 3 cards and there'll be a president in there or something. So they're not really fast movers, but they are average cards. Would I pass up a box of them? No. But I'm not going to pay top dollar for these. If I see a box of President Postcards and there's 5 other boxes, I'll probably just move on. But if that box is there and they want $50 for it and there's 800,000 cards in there, sure, I'll pick it up, 5 cents a card, 10 cents at the most. I just wouldn't spend that much money because they're going to sit and you're going to tie up your money. But that's presidents. Who knew? Now we're going to get into the poll. Every Saturday between 8 and 10 Central, most of the time, these polls go off on YouTube. And what they are is just a question, and you can vote on them. If you vote without putting a comment, it's anonymous. If you put a comment in, it'll put your name in the front there, and I could use it on a video. But don't be afraid to comment on there, because people want to know other people's opinions. But this poll was, do you save your photos/scans after listing a postcard? Please put in the comments why or why not. It's one of those things you touch on: shipping, listing, packing, stuff like that, pricing. People get passionate about the things they do. They're reinforcing themselves. To me, I see it sometimes as they're not confident in what they're doing. I'm confident in what I'm doing. I have a system. I have a model. I have repeatable, sustainable processes. I will change them if I need to. But I'm confident that they work. I'm confident they work for me, my business. So I asked this question because I wanted to find out the best practice. And 44% said they do save them. 56% said no. So it's kind of a wash, 50-50, you ask me. There is a percent error, differences in here. I would say it's kind of 50-50. Some people do, some people don't. wasn't. I thought it was going to be a lot of yeses or a lot of nos, and it came out 50-50. So I'm going to go through the comments here in a second, but I'm going to tell you what I do. In my opinion, I don't do it. I probably got 5 boxes scanned of about 5,000 postcards. A little under 4,500 to 5,000 postcards. I scan them to photo in order that they're in the box. I list this next postcard. I go to the folder. I grab the picture. I list it. The next one, I go in, do the same thing. I go to the folder to get the picture. I delete the one before it, and I get that one. They're gone. I don't want them anymore. You ever seen the thumbnails that go on there? People have the little SD cards loaded with files, stuff like that. I'm from the technical world. I know what it's like when someone loses data and stuff like that. I know the recovery process and what's easier or not. I've rebuilt systems where they've lost 10 to 20,000 voicemail boxes, and we had to go in and rebuild those. We did it in shifts. There was a big bank in Chicago. They had a problem with their systems, not ours. And it affected ours, and it wiped out a drive and corrupted the data. We had to go and rebuild all that. We couldn't recover the messages, but we had to rebuild everybody's extension. It probably took about 3 or 4 days. That was a team of people going through. And back in those days, we didn't have a lot of automated tools. It was all manual data entry. And they were limited in how many sessions. So we had like 3 people connect to our system, and that's it, the way this system was built. But the processors back then were like 25 megahertz. That's like driving 2 miles an hour compared to driving 1,000 miles an hour in those days. So I understand backup recovery and stuff, but I don't keep those because I don't see a need to. The biggest reason people wanted to do it that I saw in the comments was when eBay lost the photos in 2018. It's going to be almost 6 years ago that they had this fluke of a thing happen. The 100-year flood, as I talk about. I'm not worried about the 100-year flood. If eBay loses all my photos, I'm going to take the box down, take it out of the sleeve, scan it, put it in. Take it out of the sleeve, scan it, put it in. Would it take me a while? Yes. But I'm not going to be able to search through every little folder. So if I have 100 scanned files in a folder on my Windows PC, and 100 of those, and I sold 3 of those, I sold number 4, 60, and 80, how am I going to find that? How am I going to make sure I got the right card when I can actually just pull it out of the sleeve, stick it in the scanner real quick, and it's on my computer, and I know it's the exact card. I know I got the right one, because it's the card here. And if I sold any of those, there might be pictures in there that you're looking at 100 cards and you already sold the majority of them. You have to look through those every time. But each person is to their own. So that's my battle with me, more of an internal battle, saying I don't see any value to me. There's no value to me. I'll just go over and get a box. Might take me 2 days to do 1 box, and I got over 110 boxes. But eBay had a problem. We don't know the reason behind it. A lot of speculation. People were affected. It's going to happen. And if you do back them up, do you back them on your computer? Is your computer backed up? Chance of your computer breaking and losing photos is way more than a whole data center at eBay. So if you're saving them on your computer and it's in your house, you have a better chance of losing them if it's not backed up. So is it worth the time to do it? To me, no, it's not. I'll just rescan. What I got to do. And they didn't lose all the pictures. Number 1 picture was still there. And that's, if you got the front of the card, it's still there. So you're going to still sell. People might ask questions until you get them all back up. Might take 6 months. But at least I'm not spending all that time there. I just don't see value in it. So you guys can go back and forth. Now, I got some comments from people too that let you know what they do. So remember, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. You can do this if you want, but I don't see in my business, my model, there's no value for it for me. Brian Goodman said, purely sentimental reasons I save my scans, but mostly have if I need to relist somewhere else in the future. Only question I have, Brian, is when is the last time you did that? If you do that a lot, then to me it's worth it. Otherwise, I just grabbed a card and put it in there. A lot of people say, I want to reuse the listing if I sell that card again. I got 45,000 cards. I couldn't tell you if I have another card of that. I'm not going to hunt it down. I'm just going to go rescan it. My scanner's right here. My computer's here. It'll be here in 5 seconds. I'm done. I'm not going to go look through eBay and find the listing just to do a sell similar when I can type all that out that quick. So that's the only question is, if you use it a lot, like Brian says here, he probably uses a lot. I don't know. But if they use it a lot, then it's worth the time. To a point. Thanks, Brian. Then Julie Flicka said, because I sometimes need them for relisting, editing, or listing. Again, sometimes is it worth doing that, or is it better just to go over and scan it? But mainly because photos are sometimes dropped on the platform. I have never seen that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I've never lost photos. I've never lost a listing that I know of. Even in the toy world, I've never lost a photo or dropped on there. And I don't mess with my store that much. Basically, if I still have them, I keep the pics. It's easier to retrieve a saved photo than take new pictures or stored items. I find it easier to stick it in the scanner and just get that picture. So, but each their own is what I'm saying. There's no right or wrong. Once sold, pics are deleted. Yeah, that's something else I don't want to manage. I sell so many cards, I would have to be managing with, oh, here it is, delete. I don't want to manage that. That's too much. That's more time than I want to deal with. But if you want to do it, I mean, like I said, people do whatever they want. But thanks, Julie. And Biff Buffo. All my scans are labeled with automatically generated numerical extensions. I would never be able to find a scan faster than I could find the card itself and just rescan it. Exactly, Biff. Took the words out of my mouth. He's always got good comments that just gets right to the point. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right there. It's faster just to do it, and it's 100%. You have the card in your hand. You didn't pick the wrong card, and you're not searching for stuff. Just spend the time to do that on scanning. That's how we would do it in the technical world. If we had to got to a point where we had to recreate it, we just sat the people down and recreated it and stuff like that. But thanks, Biff. And then the Wandering Ghoul, the zombie, as a short name for that. It's not really an intentional thing. I just don't go back and delete the images after I list. When your hard drive fills up, you'll find out. My system, I have a lot of space, but I have a dedicated drive just for stuff like that, and I delete them as I list, because it can fill up, and it was my background is this, and so I'm pretty diligent about keeping my stuff clean and the PC's up to date and drivers, and it's just ingrained in me, I think, of doing that. Yeah, I just have a system as I list, and I delete them. I don't bank my business on the 100-year flood. Things are going to happen. You just got to be able to react. My house could have a problem that I never even thought of. I have business insurance to cover all my postcards. Not what they would sell for, but what I paid for them and the computers to get started back up. And it covers all that. But I could probably, if something happened or technically I couldn't do it, I think there's a rider in here, but I have a deductible I got to pay. But sometimes when one door closes, another one opens. So if something did happen on eBay, it'd just give you a chance to start over and do maybe something different, the way you always wanted to do it. So I'm never one to worry about things I have no control of. And the hype about the pictures leaving, yeah, it did cause a lot of work for people. I'm not downsizing that at all. But that was 2018. Are we due for another one? I don't think so. I think there's a chance everywhere something could happen. Your bank could have problems too, and stuff like that. So I just spend your time where it's valued is what I always look at. If I was paying an employee $15 an hour to list postcards, would I want to pay him to manage those photos? Or would I pay him just to rescan them if we lost them? So your business is paying you $15 an hour to do this. Are you saving any money? So that's my part of it, my side of it. Now let me know how you guys do it and see if I missed anything here on that. That's the poll. Check them out. Make sure you're subscribed. Right over here in the corner, so you can do that, and you'll get notified when those things go out. And we have these discussions. Viewer comments. Now this is from Kevin. I got 4 comments from here, real quick to go through. I always end the videos with these. Kevin is someone I met down in Sarasota. He's got a YouTube channel, Postcard Guy. He has a source and a stock of great real photo postcards. And we traded some texts the other night, and he saw my prison postcard video, and he said he loved prison postcards. And he told me he just got one of the electric chair in a prison. Just think a real photo of an electric chair in a prison would be worth. Those are the cards you'd want to spend time on, not a Chrome card of George Washington. Stuff like that. But check out Kevin out there. When he gets a box of the real photos in there, he goes through them and stuff, and they're just amazing. And look, and stuff like that. It just, some of the things he showed me down there are really cool. Thanks, Kevin. Then someone wrote, I notice you do not sell action figures or toys anymore. Wonder why. This came in an email from a person that used to buy a lot from me. And I told him this year was I'm slowing down. I took my business and I just kind of went like this. And then just niched down to this. And I'm not looking to do 10 hours a day anymore doing stuff and spending 8 hours at the computer. I spend the mornings in here, a little bit in the afternoon. I piddle here and there, but most of the time now it's just mornings for that. And I just didn't want to pack and ship and do all that stuff anymore. So it took me about 1.5 years, 2 years to get rid of all that stuff. I still got some in the trailer. This year we have decided that this will be our last year for the flea markets, so I'll be selling the trailer and all the stuff that's in there. I already got buyers for the trailer and stuff like that, so they know when summer gets here, they're going to give me that. Well, I get the exact money I got for it. Nope, but it'll be gone. We're done with it. We're just kind of getting our time back and stuff like that. But that's why I don't sell the action figures and stuff anymore with that. And nothing wrong with it. I made very good money and I was very successful at it. It's just that getting older, don't want to do other things. Got other interests. Thanks. And then the next one was another email. Why do people use other software to list and not just eBay templates? I forget the name of the software. I just think it is not needed anymore. And he went on and on about Turbo Lister, how people are stuck with that and they didn't want to use templates because eBay used to have 4 pages. I don't remember a lot of that. And I never used Turbo Lister, stuff like that. And I think the other software you're talking about, there's 2 of them. Ink Frog, and there's some other ones out there, but 6-bit is the one I hear in the postcard world. And I don't know, I can't say good or bad about 6-bit, but what I've heard from others, it works really well. The support is great and stuff like that. So there's a trial I think you can do. There is a little learning curve to set everything up, but support can help with that, or ask in the comments, maybe someone can help. I don't use it because my system is built on eBay templates, and it works fine with me. If I needed to change, that would be the first place I would go look at. Is it not needed anymore? I'm getting by without it and not paying the money, but other people like it. You use what you like. There's Apple people, there's Windows people. And some people get stupid crazy and start getting real defensive about each one. It's a computer. It does basically the same thing. You've got pros and cons of each. Sure, Apple's the higher BMW, the Beamer of the things on there, perceived. And then there's Windows. They each have their pros and strengths. And Office is not going to be loaded with Apple PCs. They're going to be loaded with Windows because most of the people know how to use Windows. We're not going to train someone how to use Apple every time we hire them. We're not going to put that in the call center. We're going to put Windows because everybody has Windows at home. Productivity. A lot of people use Apple because of the quality and stuff. I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, and I have a MacBook. Of course I like it. There's things on the MacBook I don't like. I like Windows better, and there's things on Windows I don't like about there. But I don't go to battle about it. So it's whatever people are used to using. And thinking it's not needed anymore, I don't think so. But it does do maybe some other things. Like we were just talking about saving the photos. I think 6-bit, you actually have a copy of everything. I'm not for sure. You can ask someone that uses it. So that would be a good way to back up your stuff and use that at the same time if you're that concerned about losing photos. That way, if something happens, you can just go find the listing and push it back up. I think it works that way. So that's about as ignorant as I am with that software. But I heard it does a very good job. Thanks. And then the last one, I laughed. He said, I see a bunch of pictures on the screen to your left, right over here. These are all the thumbnails and stuff from the videos I put up, and it just floats through the screen. Are those videos already completed or future ones? Do you have a list of what's coming in the future? So every time I do a thumbnail, I put it in, it gets copied over to this drive and it gets displayed. So it could be videos that were done already. Some are that are coming that you're seeing over here. And I can tell you what I got coming in the future. So we're on Presidents. What I got coming for the rest of the year, I can tell you. I got Empire State Building postcards. I got the 21 California missions, those church missions out in California. Talk about those. Grand Canyon, Fred Harvey. Chicago postcards. Postcards with golfing on them. Postcards with Pepsi signs on them. Postcards with mills. Not just water mills. I found there's other mills like factories and stuff. Mills. Bakeries. Postcards with bakeries. Of bakeries and bakery products. Postcard with baseball. Baseball postcards. Wait till you see that one. Olympics. Olympic postcards. Postcards with tennis on them. Unbelievable. You wait till you see those. And the other one, Yellowstone. We're going to talk about Haynes and Wiley Camp. I've done some research on those. Those are two names about Yellowstone you need to look at. And I do have the box. Check this out. That's a Haynes Yellowstone box on there. And I'll show this in the video. There's 54 postcards in here, but Haynes used to do 100 postcards in a box, and they were the official photographer of Yellowstone. So we'll be talking about Haynes and the Wiley Camp. Really good cards, the Wiley Camps. What else I got coming? I got postcards with trucks on them, happy birthday postcards, Alaska postcards, and the last one for the year will be Main Street postcards. So postcards of Main Street in the USA. So that's for the agenda for the rest of the year. You'll see some of the thumbnails going there. I don't have them all recorded yet. I might have the thumbnails done, and I'll get the research and start on that. So I kind of batch them up when I get to them is how I do it. That's all I got for today. Thanks for all the questions and the comments and participating. Here's some fish for you.